Welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking about building long-term relationships between content creators like myself and the realtors and brokerages that hire us. We're all here to make money and we're all here to run our business. The best way to do that is to make sure your marketing dollars are not wasted. And the best way to keep your marketing dollars well spent is to have a good customer experience. I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks on how I keep all of my clients super happy throughout the process in order to keep these long lasting relationships that go years into the future. Let's go. As I just mentioned on the top, we're getting right into some tips and tricks that will help you maintain relationships with the realtors and brokerages that hire you. The way I keep my clients happy are a few simple ways. The first one I'm going to talk about is pure honesty. Don't be afraid to be honest with the agents that are hiring you. Tell them exactly what's on your mind. And I'm not saying be disrespectful or angry or rude or any of that. I'm just saying be honest with them. Keep in mind, you're no longer a server or a bartender or a customer service representative. You're now a photographer running your own company. And that means you have to make choices about your well-being. Sometimes that may not be exactly what they want to hear, but it may be what they need to hear. Don't be afraid to be honest with these people about what's going on. Another thing that factors into the honesty progression is simply having conversations about the packages you offer and how they relate to the property at hand. A prime example will be drone photography. Once again, we're all here to run a business and we're all here to make money. But anyone who's ever flown a drone professionally and photographed more than 20 properties has pulled up to one and said instantaneously, wow, this is going to be really difficult, or these are not going to look very great because of the location, or I can't believe they want drone photos with this thing right next door. If you haven't encountered this situation, sooner or later you will if you fly a drone professionally. My recommendation here is to text or call the agent if they're not there. If they're there, have a simple conversation with them. Be like, hey, I see you ordered this. Honestly, I don't think it will be your greatest service because of these reasons. Instead, you should try one of these other services I offer that I believe will gain you more value for the money spent. I also do video services, and simply because of what's right next door to your property, I think the drone images might detract a little bit, but the video will definitely help push business where you want it to be. See how simple that was? Simple conversations with these people about real topics, and especially when it comes to their budget, showing them that you understand they have a budget to stick to and you're trying to help them do that while providing them the best products possible. This really goes a long way in enhancing your relationship with an agent, and it really goes a long way when we're talking about the longevity of that relationship, because the longer you work with that brokerage or agent and the more times you are just simply honest about the situation at hand, the more of a trustful relationship that happens. And there may be other photographers that come after them asking for their business, but this is a business of who you know and not what you know. It's a business of word of mouth more than it is of social media marketing. I get way more business from agents spreading my name than I do on Facebook ad campaigns. That's just me personally. Maybe you've had a different experience. If so, please talk about it below. I've had horrible experience with this in the past, and I'm always looking for new methods. As I mentioned in my other videos, I definitely do not know everything. I am also here to learn, but in the process, I'm going to teach you everything I do know currently about it. Let's go on to the next one. Now that we got those out of the way, I consider those really the base plate. That's what you have to do no matter what, every single realtor relationship. That is the number one thing that will help grow the longevity of it. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is the simplest thing you can do, and that is simply smile at all times while on site. It does not matter how frustrating the homeowner is. It does not matter how frustrating the situation is. It does not matter that the dog is in every photo that you take. Make sure you keep a smile on site. You can tell the homeowners that are there if they are there, and this is mainly what I'm talking about when people are there, but you can tell people things that they don't want to hear or that aren't nice with a smile on your face. Please, ma'am, I'm really sorry. Your dog keeps getting in all the pictures. Is there any way you can maybe just take him out front for 10 minutes while I finish this area? Please, sir, I totally understand you have a whole lot going on. How about this? How about I photograph all the rest of the house while you finish working in this area, and I'll do this one absolute last for you. Keep a smile on your face and say things they don't want to hear, because it goes a long way. And in that same matter, another thing you can do at every single property you go to is compliment. It costs you absolutely nothing to throw out a compliment. Whether it's to the realtor or the homeowner, it doesn't matter who, throw out one per job, and I guarantee you it will go a long, long way in your reputation in this industry. Compliment something about the homeowner style throughout the house. You're bound to run into at least one thing throughout the process of photographing this property that you really like. Make sure to comment it, because that homeowner, 9 times out of 10, that one comment sticks in their brain. And next time they talk to them, oh yeah, your photographer was really nice. He really liked my Egyptian vase that was over in the corner. Oh man, your photographer was great. He noticed my old school whiskey collection. Nobody ever talks about that. Like, you never know what people love. Say it with a smile on the face. Compliment them. It will always get back to the agent. And that one thing, you can provide garbage photographs, and as long as you are a nice and seemingly caring individual on site, 9 times out of 10 you can get away with it, and they'll continue to hire you. You ever looked around on the MLS and been like, man, these are some bad images, and it seems like this agent keeps producing bad images. Maybe I should reach out to them and try and get their business. I'll reach out to them with an email talking about how my images look better. Let me just go ahead and tell you, that's the wrong way of going about it. You should never approach anyone in this industry by telling them how bad what they currently have is. You are starting the conversation with a negative and an off-putting manner. The very first thing you should do is compliment them on something, and then say that you believe you can help them enhance their brand image by using your images. Never talk negatively about the agent, the homeowner, their style, or what they currently use as branded images. That is a surefire way to not get that client. If you want to get a new client, simply be nice. It's the best thing you can do, especially when you're approaching smaller brokerages. If you go back to one of my earlier videos, boom, when I'm talking about reaching out to niche clients, I do talk about smaller brokerages. Smaller brokerages are my bigger clients. Do I work for Berkshire Hathaway and Century 21? Yes, I do. But I do work for smaller agencies that if you're not in Raleigh, North Carolina, you've never even heard of them. And guess what? The smaller brokerages order more. I get so much more work from smaller brokerages than I do from larger firms. I don't know why that is, actually. I think it's because smaller brokerages are usually going for that home community feel. So the way I handle myself on site really matters. The fact that I'm always smiling when I show up, that I compliment homeowners, I compliment realtors, I play with the dog as soon as it runs at me. Like, all those little things are the reason I've managed to be so successful. They're little bitty things that can go a long way when it comes to the longevity of a relationship between you and the people you want to hire you. A lot of people in our industry, in the real estate photography industry, are slowly cutting their profits, and it's a race to the bottom on price. And while some people may be willing to participate in this, I personally am not. I believe that a certain quality is upheld, and I personally believe that I need to pay myself and my employees a living wage, not just the money to barely scrape by, but the money to survive and thrive. So I personally will not be participating in the race to the bottom. I will instead teach you how to build relationships with real estate agents and brokerages, so that way you don't have to participate in that race to the bottom. Am I the cheapest photographer in my area? Definitely not. Am I the most expensive? Most definitely not. I fall somewhere in between. I have a mid-range package and I have a high-end package. I talk about it a lot in my other videos. So if you haven't seen any of those, go check out the other videos on my page. I talk mainly about real estate photography and videography, but I digress. Well, that's it, folks. I've managed to once again blabber to my camera for an indiscernible amount of time, and hopefully I have managed to spew forth some pertinent tips, tricks, and information for you when it comes to the longevity of your relationships in this industry. If you noticed, all of my tips were about personality. None of them were about how to enhance your products or the services you provide or any of that, because once again, in real estate, it really is so much about who you know and how you carry yourself and the word of mouth that gets pushed around. So keep smiling, keep complimenting your agents and your homeowners, keep rocking and rolling. If you like the information I presented and the way I presented it, please press that like button, mash that subscribe button, and I'll check you next time.